Coming up, the April Gentleman Junkie giveaway knife, something new from Bob Terzuola and Fox Knives, and then my Civivi collection so far. I'm Bob DeMarco. This is the Knife Junkie podcast.
Welcome to the Knife Junkie podcast, your weekly dose of knife news and information about knives and knife collecting. Here's your host, Bob the Knife Junkie DeMarco.
Welcome back to the show. We had a lot of great comments on the last episode with Rolando Escotada. First one from Thalis Castellani, who I gave a real hard time last week for his comment. So I just wanted to put this one up because I really liked it. He said, Mr. DeMarco, please bring more knife fighters onto your podcast. I'm loving it so much. Mr. Castellani, I really appreciate you, sir. And I too, those are some of my favorite interviews. People who really know what they're talking about when it comes to knives and knife fighting. And we've had or knife defensive training, we should say. I've had a bunch of people on, so check those out, but still more to come. Another great comment from Fishbag61. He says, Jackpot Bob, for some time now, I've been tracking the channels of both you guys and sacrificing imaginary chickens on the altar of collaboration in the hopes in order to someday see both of you do a show together. I can die a happy fan. Bravo. Great episode. Fishbag, don't die. But if you do and you're happy, I'm grateful for that. But please stick around because there's a lot of great stuff to come. But thank you so much. That really put wind in my sails, as did Jorge Fernandez 6407's comment. And he said, there should be an applause tab on YouTube. Bob, you put on some classic shows, and this one is no exception. I follow Rolando's channel too, but this collaboration of the two of you on this video is priceless. Excellent show. Well, thank you so much. It's, more than my pleasure to do the show in general. I really kind of feel a kinship with everyone I talk to on this show, but Rolando, he's a great guy, and he and I have a lot in common. And I don't know, I could talk to him for hours and hours. So I'm glad you all feel that way. All right. Thanks one and all for watching and commenting over this past week. Keep watching, keep commenting, and we'll be here. All right. Coming up, time for a pocket check.
What's in his pocket? Let's find out. Here's the Knife Junkie with his pocket check of knives.
Today I had, and for a couple of days, I've had this beautiful and luxurious Herman Knives Ishtar in my pocket. It all started with my mother-in-law's birthday, and it was a big throwdown, a big sort of Latino barbecue at my brother-in-law's place. It was great. We had a lot of fun, and I figured I should bring a special knife. I knew I was going to be pulling out and cutting a lot of meat with it. So many people, you tend to get the plastic silverware, which is great, which is fine. I travel with my own silverware anyway, but I wanted the knife to be special. And so I had the Ishtar. It's so beautiful. No one noticed, no one commented, but that's okay. I noticed. And it zipped right through the meat like you wouldn't believe. Rotisserie chicken and those kind of spare ribs that were so good. He did them in a Korean way, though, which was interesting. This knife did a great job. This is M390 blade steel from Poland. This knife comes from Poland with that beautiful gravel road texture on the high voltage green anodized handle. And that beautiful upswept scimitar style blade, Persian style blade. It's called the Ishtar for that purpose. So I've been carrying that for a few days and really appreciating it. It's an expensive knife, though the company sent it to me, and I really appreciate it. And I figured, why not just carry it? I've been babying it a bit, but it's a fantastic knife. So it was great to have on me. Next on me today, I had the Victorinox Compact. This is a great little 2-layer Victorinox. It's not little, it's the regular size, the 91 millimeter, but it has extra tools like a pen. That's a pen there. And then it's got this eyeglass small screwdriver right here that fits right in the corkscrew. And then there's a pin in there. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll pull it out. There's a pin right in there I haven't had to use that pin yet, but it's there. And it's got a lot of great tools crammed into this tiny little, well, it's not tiny, but in this relatively small space. Lots of tools, lots of utility. Plus, it's got my favorite Victorinox tool of all. Yes, that's right, the scissors. I love the Victorinox scissors. I carry this one quite a bit. I've got one of these dangler things on it. I've got 3 of those, and I kind of rotate them, but this always stays on that Victorinox. That's my most carried Victorinox. I've been carrying it a lot lately. My fixed blade today was this super cool and beautiful Desperado from Cold Steel, a discontinued knife that my buddy Strings, a regular on Thursday Night Knives. We've now done 2 trades. You'll see the result of our second trade a little bit later. But this is something that I traded for him with, and I love it. And it carries very well. I was concerned with this grippy rubberized craton handle that it might catch the clothes and print a lot. It does not at all. I mean, as long as you have some sort of loose garment over it. It's a moot point because unless you're really looking for one of these, they're discontinued. So they're hard to come by. Anyway, I've wanted one of these for about 25 or 30 years. I don't know, however long it is. Seems like 100, but I finally got one due to Strings. Thank you so much, Sean. I appreciate it greatly. And I really like carrying it. By the way, this is one of the best Securex sheaths ever. It kind of like comes out as easy as it needs to. It retains well. It's got this little fat flap here. It's that little flap of, what do you call this? Securex, Kydex, whatever, plastic that guards your little extra bundle that might stick over the edge of the sheath from when you're drawing it. So a little guard there for the ample gentleman, we'll say. And then last up for emotional support, been carrying this one a lot. Not carrying, but leaving the house with this one a lot. This is the APOC Smatchet, designed by Mike Wallace. Just an absolutely beautiful, and not the one from 60 Minutes. No, the one that worked with Andrew Demko and Cold Steel. This thing is awesome. Oh my gosh. D2 blade steel. You've got a 10-inch blade or 9.5-inch blade, double-edged. It is substantial, feels great in hand with this contoured G10, micro-milled, and with nice little finger wells there. It just fits the hand great. It is reminiscent a little bit of a Gladius, as some people have commented. So had that in my bag. Of course, I don't carry that around. I would if, there weren't so many pearl clutchers around me. I would be carrying this thing all the time. It is so cool. I look forward to checking out more knives from APOC. I think it's a really cool brand. It's a Cas Iberia brand, and I know that Demko's and Mike Wallace are involved in it. So I'm very excited to do more exploration of this brand and their knives. So this is what I had on me today. My emotional support knife, my ESK today, was the Smatchet. A dedicated weapon, by the way. This was invented as a weapon. All other purposes are secondary. People say, oh, it's a hatchet and a shovel put together. It's a big, nasty fighting knife, for real. I'm sure it was put to a lot of other uses in the field because who's always running into a melee? Not too many of us. Even those in combat tend to rely on their firearms. Also, a Desperado I had in my hand, in my belt, I should say. I had the Victorinox Compact and the Ishtar from Herman Knives. Now, before I move on to the second little item, I want to back up to the comments for a second and just say we got some interesting comments, too, from RJ Bailey 3208, who is talking about guns. And ordinarily, I dismiss the discussion of guns when we're talking about knives. Yes, I have guns. Yes, I carry guns. Lots of us have guns and carry guns. But oftentimes I forget to mention that these discussions of self-defense knives are happening within the context of guns. We did cover that on the first part 1 interview with Rolando Escotada. We talked about guns and the relevance of knives. So J.R. Bailey, I do appreciate your comments, and I wanted you to know that I wanted to address them a little bit, but so I just figured I'd mention it there. But very interesting. They're very long comments, so go check them out on Rolando Escotado Part 2 interview. So there you go. Okay, so now coming up in April this month, the April Gentleman Junkie knife giveaway is two things from Off Grid. Very cool two things. The first being the knife. This is the Off Grid Knives Sidekick. The Sidekick. It's a small EDC version of the Backcountry. One of my favorite, if not my favorite, at least blade shape from Off Grid Knives. Now, I must admit, I use several of other of their knives more than I do the Backcountry because I find the Backcountry to be quite tactical. And, you know, I don't tend to use those knives as much. Even though I like them more. This is a perfect combination of tactical and everyday carry useful with a 3.5-inch 14C28 end blade, that beautiful recurved humpback drop point with jimping on the thumb ramp and on the forward thumb swale there on the back of the blade, and a beautifully redesigned handle. And I should say redesigned from the Backcountry. This is not the Backcountry, so to say it's redesigned is kind of strange, but it has a different handle than the Backcountry, even though it has the same blade. And this handle is dreamy. It's an ergonomic dream, fits the hand perfectly. You've got really nice jigging here on the side of that G10. Huge chamfers, sorry, a little brain lock there. Huge chamfers there really make this feel great in hand, rounded, however, still squared off that it's not going to turn in hand. Great in reverse grip as well. All that jimping is fantastic. That recurve is very useful as well as deadly if you need it to be, heaven forbid. And then it comes with a great Kydex sheath, a fold-over taco sheath with a little area down below to vent off humidity and water or any other sort of liquid. And then here you have this great clip here. This sort of emulates that tops clip that can turn in any angle, any direction, and you can wear this thing however you want on the belt. I have the Coyote version that I'm keeping for myself, and I have I'm changing up the clips a bit because I like to carry in the waistband. But this is a very nice everyday carry fixed blade knife. So we will be giving this away to one lucky Gentleman Junkie, as well as the Bolt pen from Off Grid Knives. The Bolt pen XL, it's a nice large aluminum pen. It's got a Parker Jotter style cartridge on one end with the whole barrel coming in and out. And then on the other end, it's got a glass breaker. So very useful, very tactical, and a great writer. I write my show notes with this pen. It's a fantastic package. So one lucky Gentleman Junkie will win this in April. Now, what's a Gentleman Junkie, you say? Well, that's our high tier of support on Patreon. Go check it out. You can go to TheKnifeJunkie.com/Patreon, or you can scan the QR code that Jim will put up on the screen. You see it up here quite a bit right there. You see it right there. Scan that. Go see what we have to offer, and I'll break that down in a minute. But that's what you stand to win, and I hope each and every one of you win it. Of course, you can't, so I hope. Well, I know one of you is going to win it, and I'm glad for that because I love you. Not just the patrons. I love you all. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. All of that said, let's get to Knife Life news.
Want to sell your custom knives online? With LaunchCart, you can easily create your own e-commerce store. No coding required. LaunchCart is designed for knife makers like you, with built-in tools to showcase your craftsmanship, manage orders, and grow your brand. It's fast, flexible, and even includes low-cost payment processing to help you keep more of your profits. Start your online knife store today at TheKnifeJunkie.com/launch and turn your passion into a business.
You're listening to the Knife Junkie podcast. And now here's the Knife Junkie with the Knife Life news.
Well, after SHOT Show and Blade Show Texas, we finally have a somewhat slow knife week. So just a couple of new knives here, but this first one's pretty cool, right up my alley. This one is from Boker Plus. It's called the Kagat. At least that's how I'm pronouncing it. Kagat. This comes from Filipino martial artist Frank Dello Jr. And what is this thing? This is a compact tactical fixed blade. And if you're looking on screen, it is a 3.43 inch double-edged clip point. That's right, double-edged clip point. You know I'm a big fan of everything I just said right there. So this sucker is a little guy. It's 1095 blade steel, but it's got a pretty chunky 0.18 inch stock. So it's a thick-ish blade, two wickedly sharp edges, and then a big jimped thumb swell, which I dare say in reverse grip would act nicely as a trapping feature in a Filipino knife fight. Let's say I'm pretty sure that's a great place to put your thumb, but it's also a great place to capture the incoming arm of someone that you're fighting. And I think that most Filipino martial artists think that way. Did I mention 1095 blade steel? I think I did, but you can see it's well coated, so it's not going to rust. Though, be careful. You got to keep those edges oiled and stropped. A G10 handle scales on that handle there, full true tang there, and nicely knurled or diamond, what do you call it, pyramid texture there. Kydex sheath, 5.8 ounces. It's available now, and check this out. MSRP is $77. So you know it's going to be lower than that at your favorite knife purveyor. So definitely go check out this Boker Plus Kagat, designed by Filipino martial artist Frank Dello Jr. I think I would like to. All right, next up, this is one with a funny name. And I don't mean to have my 12-year-old humor popping out. This is the Bestech VK-Kuse. That's right, the VK-Kuse from Bestech. This comes from German knife designer Volpex Knives. We've seen some Volpex knives here. We've talked about it. I think that's where the VK comes from, Volpex Knives in the Kuse name. So this is a minimalist Japanese-inspired folder. Beautiful 3-inch Magna Cut blade. It's a traditional Tanto style blade, so it doesn't have that secondary point like the Americanized Tanto does, but a beautiful upswept edge. It's got a pretty much flat spine. So if you're not a huge fan of the sort of Persian-y style knife, this will give you that curve without giving you the curved spine. So quite a nice looking knife here. This Magna Cut blade, is on ceramic bearings, and it opens with a thumb stud, single-sided thumb stud, which on the off side presents a beautiful brassy color. This is a titanium frame lock, and the overall length of this is 7.33 inches. It comes in 3 different colorways: a black stonewash, a bead blast, and then check this out, a dark bead blast stonewash. So you kind of get all of the best things right there. All of the best of all worlds. It's a 3-ounce knife, which is pretty light. They say the ideal is an ounce per blade inch, and that's what you're getting here. $230 across the board, whether you buy it at Bestech or one of your favorite purveyors. It started off at $270, and they're doing a special or something right now. So this is available now for $230 wherever you want to buy this beautiful Bestech VK-Kuse. All right, lastly, I want to talk about this. This is a cool little piece. In Poland. Now, stories like this oftentimes come from Poland, which is kind of cool. But 2 metal detectorists, that's what you call someone who uses a metal detector. I didn't know that until this article. 2 metal detectorists discovered a 2,800, that's 2,800-year-old dagger on the beach. Now, they were scouring a beach right after a very heavy storm in Poland knocked off a whole bunch of cliff face. The cliff face fell, and they were, metal detecting in the stuff that was sloughed off the side, and they found this beautiful old dagger. And when I say old, I guess I mean ancient. Decorated here, as you can see, with crescent and star motifs. So they think that this thing is probably ceremonial. 9.5 inch overall. This is copper, and this is a copper and tin alloy from the Hallstatt period of the Iron Age. Now, I say that like I'm very familiar with the Hallstatt period. I am not, but I think it's so cool that there are people who are, meaning the museum who came and checked this out, where this will finally reside in Poland. They know what they're talking about, and they can look at a knife like this, a beautiful ceremonial dagger, which was probably owned by a rich warrior, perhaps part of a solar cult, where we hear from the visual motif, that they could take a look at this thing and kind of know the period it comes from the shape and the materials, and know how to classify it. Now, this is all, of course, perhaps, but very, very educated guesses from people way more educated than myself in the matter. Unlike other finds in Poland, they're not sure if this was made in Poland or elsewhere in Europe and shipped in. So very, very cool find. Now, I usually find these stories on Knife Magazine. A lot of the stories here, most of the stories here where I'm talking about new knives come from Knife News, but a lot of these interesting stories, I find interesting historical stories, I find linked at Knife Magazine. Go check that out. Clay Alders, a buddy of mine over there, he actually he went to my high school, which is very cool and very, surprising, but he was a little bit younger than I was, so I didn't know him in high school. But anyway, go check out Knife Magazine. He links to a lot of really cool ones. This one, for instance, was in Popular Mechanics, a magazine I don't normally peruse, so I wouldn't have seen this without Knife Magazine. All right, coming up, we're going to get to the state of the collection. But before we do, I want to tell you a little bit about the Patreon membership. Yes, we have 3 tiers of support. $3 a month gets you the traditional junkie moniker, and you get stickers and a coaster, and you get interview extras. Then we have the $5. That's the tactical junkie tier, and then we have the gentleman junkie tier, which enters you every month into a knife giveaway, a special knife giveaway. We do some random knife giveaways on Thursday Night Knives, but we save the real special giveaways for the gentleman junkies. So go over to TheKnifeJunkie.com/Patreon and check it out, or scan the QR code on your screen. We have a new member I just saw right before we logged on here. So sorry, Jim, I didn't give you a chance to make a graphic, but Jeff Wright, who has been a member before, and he's a member again. So thank you very much, Jeff. Greatly appreciated. Become a patron and check it out. Also, coming up here soon, we're going to do YouTube memberships, and it will be the same cost to be a YouTube member or a gentleman junkie, and you'll get the same stuff. And really, like, what I think the most value added part is you get to see extras from these great interviews I do with all your favorite knife makers. So do go check that out. TheKnifeJunkie.com/Patreon. Again, TheKnifeJunkie.com/Patreon.
The Shockwave Tactical Torch is your ultimate self-defense companion, featuring a powerful LED bulb that lasts 100,000 hours, a super sharp crenulated bezel, and a built-in stun gun delivering 4.5 million volts. Don't settle for ordinary. Choose the Shockwave Tactical Torch. TheKnifeJunkie.com/Shockwave.
And now that we're caught up with Knife Life news, let's hear more of the Knife Junkie podcast.
Would you feast your eyes on this beauty? This is brand new, and it's not mine. I have to return this in pristine shape, so I got to be very careful with this. But these are the new knives coming out from Bob Terzuola and Fox Knives. Fox Knives out of Italy makes some of the best premium knives out of Europe. And they do a lot of work with Bob Terzuola and a lot of our favorites here. But Bob T, I was just on his wife's podcast, The Knife Wife. Go check that out. We had a great conversation. His wife, Suze, is awesome. She's a really great person and a really great interviewer. And she's also starting a new life as a stand-up comedian. And she told some pretty funny jokes she didn't even mean to tell during our interview. So definitely go check that out. But this is the new knife from Bob Terzuola and Fox Knives. Look at that beautiful dagger grind. Dagger grind with a bayonet finish, meaning there's a little bit of extra flat there for your thumb, but a very thin swedge up top, a spear point, so even on the top and the bottom. You've got a fuller running down the center, and this is the Thor pattern Damasteel. Look at that. Just beautiful to look at. And then this is a special carbon fiber here. I had it. Where did I put it? A special kind of carbon fiber in the handle. We have marbled carbon fiber on the other one, which I'll show you in a second. But just a stunning knife. That's a 3.75-inch blade. And then you can see the Damasteel pattern from the top when you look at the thumb rest there. Gorgeous, nice, long sculpted pocket clip. Just beautiful, incredible action. I wish this were mine. But I love the flipper tab. Everything about this knife is slick and cool and 100% Terzuola. Here's the other version of this. This is in Magna Cut. This beauty is in Magna Cut. Now, I'm not sure what the HRC is on this Magna Cut, but I know that Fox Knives does a great job with her heat treats, so I'm sure they did it well. I got to say, I love the look of marbled carbon fiber. This feels so good in hand and just looks beautiful. You've got a lighter clip on this side and that gorgeous satin finish on this. Really nice action on that liner lock. So exquisite. We recently had Benedict Odie, Ben Odie of who's an artist and a graphic artist in his own right, but he is also the merchant czar for Terzuola knives, and they recently came out with this beautiful 5mm thick marine grade brass coin, just incredibly intricately. There you go. Look at that. You probably don't want to see that close up of my fingers, but look at how beautiful this coin is. Oh my lands. And check out the dragon. Everything is so detailed on this beautiful coin. And then he's got his logo around the outside, which in English means I might be third, but I'm second to none, because Terzuola means is a version of third in Italian. So go check out Terzuola design for the cool merch that they're doing, including that coin. And then very shortly, this new knife from Fox Knives will be coming out. This style of sort of end cut carbon fiber looks like charcoal to me in a beautiful, in the best sort of way. Not the kind of charcoal briquettes that you're going to cook your burger over, but like charcoal that you would draw your masterpiece with. Just kind of has that vibe. And I love the ergonomics of this very neutral handle. So beautiful. All right, so these are the Pacifico knives from Terzuola and Fox. And if you keep seeing this little circle here under the clip, that's just to, since this is brand new, that's just to stop the clip from menacing the carbon fiber until you buy it and you take it out yourself. It's sort of like one of those covers you see on screens, you know, of your phone or something like that. All right, so that's the Terzuola Fox Knives Pacifico. Very gingerly and carefully take these off screen so they are not damaged in any way. Okay, next up, this is one that I got in a trade with, here, let me take this off, with Strings. My buddy Sean, he goes by Strings on when he's on Thursday Night Knives. That's his handle on YouTube, and we traded, and this is what I made off with. He knows, I guess he's smart. A lot of you guys are smart. You know what my soft spots are, and you make these trade offers, and it's hard to resist. This is the Boker Arbolito, made in Argentina, Bowie, and it's a beautiful, slightly recurved Bowie. made of N695 steel, N695 blade steel, and what do you call this? Canvas micarta, beautifully sculpted. It's a true full tang. It's a slightly tapered tang, and it's also crowned, so very comfortable in the hand. Beautiful guard, an absolutely gorgeous leather sheath. This is, of course, used, so it's already sort of patinaed and broken in. Very nice. This unsnaps, and you can put a dangler loop there. Here's a little loop for a tie down on your leg. But I like it just like this, right on the belt, riding high like this, or even slipped under the belt. But it has this very nice retaining fob here. And so I'm a big fan of Peterbilt Knife Guy on YouTube, and he had one of these. I'm not sure if he still does, but about a year ago, he was testing these, and he took some exception to the steel. I guess it's a little soft. So if you're batoning this through wood, you might need to touch it up sooner than you'd want to. But this to me is a purebred sort of fighting style Bowie, just seeing as it's thin and long and has that great feel. And let's face it, I mean, all of my personal Bowie actual use is done with a couple of knives. Chief among them, the Cold Steel Trailmaster, which this is somewhat reminiscent of, at least in blade. And I don't really pound anything else. Maybe every once in a while I'll use a different knife, like the Puzon Predator Hunter Bowie, or the other, the V44X, to do batoning and stuff like that. But really, and I appreciate the research that Peterbilt Knife Guy does. But for me, the softness of the N695 steel is not an issue. It's harder than the targets I'll be dueling against when I have this knife. So, of course, that's a joke for the sensors and such. But just a beautiful, beautiful shape. Look at that thing. Oh, my gosh. I'm really pleased to have this. I also saw a little while back they used to have this with a stag handle, which would also be gorgeous. But this canvas micarta with all that fluting feels really good in hand, and gives me positive feedback, especially against my thumb with the janky nerves. So really, really pleased with this trade. And then, wouldn't you know, he threw in there two different things. One of them is a hoodie, a beautiful, like really nice big hoodie from his band, Small Town Famous, which is so cool. And also he threw in this knife. And I remember, I think, seeing a little bit about these on Knives Knives channel. But this is the Knives Kumpanter, I'm going to say. Really nice little D2 hollow ground drop point with a swedge. It's got a great thumb stud action. It also has really nice front flipper action. Comes in a cool little pouch. And I didn't ask for it. He just threw it in there as part of the trade, which I really appreciate. Again, he got a Max Ace Sandstorm K from me. So I would say, though that is a very cool knife and I love it. And if I start thinking about it, I'm sure I'll miss it. But I made out in this deal. So thank you so much, Strings. All right. I want to get to our main topic of conversation. I have this preponderance of a certain knife brand. And no, it's not Cold Steel. You know, I have a lot of those. And no, it's not Emerson. I've got quite a bit of those too. But this one is Civivi. And this is one of my favorite affordable, probably my favorite high value companies, because they take a lot of design chances. They do a lot of interesting and unique designs, but they have all of the manufacturing backing them up that WE has. And we all know that WE Knives is a very, very special and beautifully manufactured knife. So I really love my Civivis. I've got 15 of them here and not so much time. So I'm going to cruise through them and just kind of tell you a little bit about them. But I do need to pull up my notes to remember the steel, because I'll tell you why. And I'll use this as an example. one thing I love about Civivis is the lack of branding. They either have the maker's mark, or they have the C on the pivot on the show side, and then if it's a collaboration, and I only have a few of these collaboration knives, they'll put the maker's mark on the back. But look at how small the steel is there. You can see it, Nitro V. So I had to write them all down and look at them with a magnifying glass like an old fart, because they are so like hype on making these as clean as possible. They're not billboarding these, so you really have to pay attention to find out what the blade steel is. All right, so this first one is a Michael Gavick or Gavco Knives collaboration. This is one of the newest ones out there, and certainly my newest Civivi. This is called the Six Gill, named after the six-gill shark, a rare and exotic eel-like shark, if I remember correctly. Really beautiful, big-bellied reverse Tonto blade with a bit of a choil. Now, if you've got big meat hooks, I'm not so sure I'd put my finger in there because it does terminate with the sharp edge there. But really, really nice shape, a very sharp knife. I've carried this a few times around the house. It cuts like you wouldn't believe. It's like a laser beam. This is the most beautiful version of it, if you ask me. Of course, like most Civivis, it does come in a Damasteel version. And this one is with, like I said, the Nitro V coated black with that beautiful British racing green or forest green canvas micarta. What's the difference between that and olive drab or OD green? Well, it has more blue in it. It's a more civilized dark green, if you will. It's like what you put on your Jaguar, instead of the olive drab. So it's less military, a little more posh. Really nice ergonomics on this one, deep carry pocket clip, and excellent lock bar, crossbar action there. All right, next up is the one that first caught my eye. It was one of the first 3 Civivis ever to come out. And back in the day when it first came out, it had gold liners, egads, no thanks. But thankfully, they've done this in so many different colorways. And this is my favorite, I have to say. This beautiful Jurabuta wood, I can never pronounce it, but this beautiful wood and a gorgeous black blade, a very thin. So this is a 9CR18 MOV blade. And though not hollow ground, neither was the last one. When they do a flat grind, I'd say they do a flat grind half the time and a hollow grind the other half. But their flat grinds are so thin and so sharp, you wouldn't know the difference, honestly. So this is a beautiful leaf-shaped blade. Always reminded me a little bit of the Barong, one of my favorite blades from the Philippines. And you've got a nice choil for choking up on the blade for that quote-unquote fine work we're all doing. And then you've got jimping for the thumb there. Just a beautiful knife. And of course, all of these have superlative action, just outstandingly top-notch action. And, these are all coming in under $100, most of them. Some Civivis are slightly north of 100, mostly when it comes to fixed blades. But just outstanding knife, and I love this one so much in the wood. It's just beautiful. So that's the Praxis, Civivi Praxis in 9CR18 MOV. All right, this third one is another collaboration with a favorite designer out there. This is the Dylan Mallory designed Hadros, a really gorgeous, I don't have to tell you, look at it. It's a beautiful Wharncliffe blade, deeply hollow ground. This thing is incredibly thin and slicey, and it's got great thumb stud action on bearings and a super ergonomic handle. Now, this has more of a split pea soup green colored micarta. Still like the way it looks. I like all puce, I think is actually the name. In the 70s, there were all these crazy colors like mauve and puce. I think that's what this is, puce. But anyway, I always say that this would make a great tactical knife. All you got to do is kind of reverse it in the grip and have it in a Pakal style grip, and you are 100% good to go. Now this one, I'm not sure if it's mislabeled or if this is just the steel that came and went, but this is 10 CR18 MOV. 10 CR18 MOV. Now, I wouldn't know the difference. Frankly, I wouldn't know the difference between any of them, really. I'm not a huge hardcore sharpener. I'm also not an over and over and over and over again user to the point where I know, like, oh, this dulled out quicker. With the Civivis anyway. Is 10 CR better than 9 CR? One better, perhaps? Or is it a mislabel? I'm just not sure. I do know it's a great knife, and it's a great back left pocket knife. Deep carry pocket clip. I'm in love with this knife, and I really like Dylan Mallory's designs. And one of these days, I will convince him to come on the show so I can interview him. He's a really cool guy, and I always look forward to saying hi to him at Blade Show. So this is the Civivi Hadros. You can still find these. All right, next up, this one was a gift from my brother-in-law. I'd say Christmas 2020, I'm going to say. And it's got a funny name. This is the full-sized Civivi Asticus. Have you found an Asticus yet? No, but I'm getting there. Deeply hollow ground, drop point with a long swedge, straight back drop point. So I guess it's not a drop point at all. Let's not call it that. Let's just call it a straight back swedged blade. Really, really nice. Very, again, thin and hollow ground. This one is D2 blade steel. And D2, since I was talking about Peterbilt Knife Guy before, through his nail tests, we have learned that well-treated D2 is some of the best steel out there, at least when you're pounding it through a nail. It's the least deformative. Now, this is so thin behind the edge, I'm not so sure how it would hold up if you were to pound it through a nail, but I do know that it slices through anything that you want to cut in good conscience very, very well. This one I mentioned that. So that's a G10 handle scale. This also came in a wood and several other colors of G2. And then recently meaning the last couple of years, they have a mini version of this. So it is a really, really excellent knife and design, and something you don't see much of from Civivi. You've got the liners standing proud, and the G10 handle scales are sort of onlays, if you will. But in any case, it's very comfortable. Now that I'm saying this, I haven't carried this without gloves in super cold weather. So I wonder how much. I'm sure, that metal of the steel frame is going to conduct, but that's not a deal breaker, let's say. Super thin, super slicey is this beautiful Asticus by Civivi. Great action. They all have great action. This next one was also a gift, but this from my friend Dave of OG Blade Reviews. This is the Keen Nadder. Another weird name. These are all weird names, but generally, if you look them up, you'll see they all mean something. I'm not sure what Keen Nadder is, but it is keen because it's quite sharp. So this is a nice compound ground recurved tanto. The forward portion is flat, and then the main cutting section is like vanishingly thin and hollow ground there. Got a beautiful fuller and thumb studs and a flipper, so a tri-way opener. You can flick it open with the thumb studs. You can slow roll open it with the thumb studs. You can hit it on the flipper, or you can engage that fuller and middle finger flick it. This one in a beautiful colorway, that blasted blade steel, which is N690CO. And then you've got a really nice neutral-ish but arced and slender handle. In this case, with that beautiful tan canvas micarta. I've used this one a lot over the years I've had it. And it seems I didn't clean this one, but this is a great pencil sharpener. I've used it a lot for sharpening pencils. And you can see that the slightly arced main cutting edge here, it is great when sharpening pencils because A, it's super thin behind the edge, and then B, that recurved surface traps the pencil as you draw forward, and you get maximum shavage there. A very, very nice and acute point. This thing is very cool. It's a great knife and also outstanding action. Next up, this one, a couple of my friends in the neighborhood all gravitated towards this knife. And everyone seems to think this is the best Civivi out there. This is the Vision FG. This is designed by Snex. And there's his maker's mark, designed by Snex. He is a Malaysian, I believe, Malaysian knife maker who used to tirelessly catalog his process of making his custom knives, which were exquisite feats of engineering and beautifully designed. For instance, he made a knife, I think he only made 16 of them, and I think Jim Skelton had one for a little while, but these folders that were very intricate with this kind of lock, but had no hardware. Everything just sort of puzzled together. So another case of Civivi working with a great designer. And we're seeing this more and more. We have Michael Gavick, Dylan Mallory. Here we have Snex. We have a couple more downstream, but really they're working with some great designers, as well as having an outstanding in-house design team. This lock is the Vision lock. I think that's what that's called. Yeah. Has a really great interface here. So you just pull back and it kind of goes back and up, and it just closes the blade. Of course, fidget all day long with this thing. And a really great grip surface here. I've seen this duplicated elsewhere with a less steep grasping angle there, and it just doesn't work as well. But yeah, the Vision FG, it comes in, this one here is in Nitro V, but it also comes famously with white G10 and a beautiful Damasteel blade. I think I prefer the black, but man, what a great knife. The Vision FG, I know a lot of people think it is the bee's knees and the best Civivi. Now, if you were to ask me what's the best Civivi, I would lean more towards these next two, and they're two of the same model, just different iterations. Here is the Sentinel Strike I with that beautiful modified Wharncliffe blade, and then the Sentinel Strike II with a sort of Sponto style blade. So a very long fronted Tonto here with a very subtle point there, and then you've got a straight there. So a flat ground front portion, a very thinly ground hollow portion, a nice swedge, and just a handsome blade, man. I'm a big fan of the Sentinel Strike II. I think this is one of the coolest knives ever, let alone from Civivi. Something that these knives have in common, the handle. And you can see that it's an integrated backstrap here, integral backstrap, one solid piece holding the knives together back here. It's of FRN, textured, with that sort of frag pattern there. But a very unique design feature there. This one has excellent button lock action, excellent. This one and the next one that I talk about have button locks, and I've spine whacked them ad infinitum and haven't had failure on these. I've actually only personally had failure on a Trevisa button lock, but not a brand I care too much for anyway, so it wasn't like a heartbreaker. But yeah, these two are gorgeous. This one, the very first one, the Sentinel One, this is K110 steel, and K110 is the Bowler version, or basically it's analogous to D2 blade steel, just a European D2. And then the Sentinel Strike II is Nitro V, a favorite from Civivi Knives. Look at that thing, just beautiful. All right, next up is also a button lock and super cool with marbled G10. So similar to that marbled carbon fiber that we saw on the Fox Knives Pacifico a moment ago, this is shredded and marbled, shredded G10 there. So you can see how it's shredded and compressed and has that marble surface. This is called the Neurohaptic. And man, what a complex looking knife this is. I mean, even the blade, it's a saber ground clip point blade with a long fuller and a long swedge and a forward thumb notch area. It's not a notch, but that former thumb area. I love that. I love it when companies put jimping up here, especially if it's backward angled, because you get this sort of tension, this dynamic tension between the forefinger and the thumb, which really secures the knife in hand. A beautiful, beautiful knife with outstanding action. Again, really, really nice flipper button action. All of these have, by the way, ambidextrous pocket clips. And this is my favorite of the Civivi Sen Cut pocket clips, that very plain deep carry clip. Also Nitro V blade steel on this one, and just a really cool futuristic look. A somewhat neutral handle, though it does have a finger choil and a slight arc there for the fingers to lock into. Beautiful knife. This is a somewhat recent one. If you're listening to this in 2025, this came out late 2024. The Neurohaptic. Next up is the Brazen. This was my so the Brazen comes in a drop point and a tanto. This obviously is the Americanized tanto here. Really nice blade. This one is 14C28N. They do 14C very, very well. This is, let's see, when this came out, I think this was their very first button lock flipper, was the Brazen. They came out with it. I got one in the drop point, I believe. It was maroon and black, and then I got rid of it, and then I got this one. So a really, really nice knife. Like I said, this rode in my backpack for quite a while. It actually displaced a Cold Steel for a while. I ended up putting the Cold Steel back in because, you know, you might have to jam it into a wall and climb up on it. And I don't know if the button lock would do that. But this button lock is very stout and sturdy. Another one I've given the spine whack test a number of times, and just really comfortable in hand. Though it's not hollow ground, it is wickedly sharp like all the rest here. And I think it's got a very handsome swedged tanto blade. I love the look of a swedge on a tanto. And it's not all about looks, people. That's going to pierce really, really well. And does. I know it from plastic bottles. This will go right through a plastic bottle like it's not even there. And I'm talking about that hard plastic near the opening where you take a drink like this. Again, super clean, very, very tiny designation for the steel. And then you've got the logo right there on the pivot. Next up from Ferrum Forge. This is from the brothers over there at Ferrum Forge. So there is the maker's mark there. This one was a gift from my buddy Jaime, and it was too small for him. And I was like, oh, I'll take it. This is the Odium. I really like the Ferrum Forge aesthetic. This is the only knife I have from them. But this little guy fits in the hand so perfectly. You've got really nice textured canvas micarta. Sorry, I don't know why that's taking so long to come out. And then liners that stand just proud of the micarta. So it almost looks like liners that you would see on a fixed blade knife. Nice gear pattern in the micarta backspacer here, and just a great little knife. The Odium is also D2, which is a great steel for a small knife. We see that a lot in Rosecraft blades. They're small slip joints in D2. They keep they take a licking and keep on ticking, as the old Timex tagline was. And I think D2 is great for small blades. We do use our small blades more, and so why not have something that's extra tough and has great edge retention. So the Odium, great little gentleman's knife, great little do-everything knife. This is one that I imagine I will gift to my younger daughter at some point, while her hands are still small. And when I say gifted to her, I know it's still going to be in the family. So that's my caveat. If I need it, I can always go grab it out of her room. Okay, next up is the Synesis. I was looking for a clip point, something. I remember when I got this, I was looking for a clip point, something inexpensive, and something robust with a longish blade. This has a 3.7-inch blade of 14C28N, a really excellent blade steel. This one is blasted, also very thin, flat ground, tall flat grind. That beautiful clip point reminds me a little bit of the, pardon me, the Waxahachie from Sencut, or the, what's the other one? Well, I can't remember the name of it. A lot of names in the Civivi Sencut universe, but I really appreciate how they do a clip point here. And this one is a steel frame lock, and it's so thin that it doesn't feel heavy. It feels like a titanium frame lock, frankly. You've got a really nice burlap micarta handle scale on the one side with a minimal liner up in there. It's hard to see when you turn it on the side, but there is a liner in there. And no weight reduction. It kind of doesn't need it. It just works perfectly well and is pretty darn light, especially for its size. Wickedly sharp. This is a great one. I got to say, a lot of these knives, this one included, are knives I carry more in the summer than in the winter, and that's because they're so light that they go really well in shorts or bathing suit. You know, I go to the pool a lot in the summertime, and always have to have knives because we're always eating and drinking and barbecuing and basically hedonizing. So I need a knife on me at all points, and these Civivis work great. This is a really cool one. If you want a frame lock, don't want to spend a lot of money, and it's rather large with a pretty light feel, check out the Synesis. Next up, this one is out of production, but you can find it in a number of places. I love this one. This is the Picaro. That's a just about a 4-inch blade. Beautiful drop point, slightly humpback drop point with a very thin hollow grind, and that really cool big opening hole with the floating thumb stud. Super cool. D2 blade here, and just full G10. Really nice. I need to carry this one more often. This is one of those knives that every time I pick it up, I'm like, why do I not carry this like all the time? This is also one that I got from Dave of OG Blade Reviews. However, this one wasn't overtly or specifically a gift. This came in a box he sent me, and I had to adopt it because ever since I saw Jared Neve waxing poetic and raving crazily about this knife, I wanted one. So I finally got it, and I absolutely love it. So this summer, I'm going to be carrying this one a lot. Next up, this is, I think, going to be my official Blade Show knife. Now that my Kubi Flash is in the hands of a avid Flash collector, which I was happy to do, I think this will be the one I will take with me to Blade Show. I love this knife too. A 4-inch Tanto on this Synergy 4. This is an O Young design, so there you see his maker's mark there. Just a beautiful knife, originally designed in the late 90s, early 2000s, not for Civivi, for, what was it, HTM or TRC, or can't remember who made it, but it was an aluminum bodied knife with this blade. They also had a drop point version, which Civivi also makes. Oh, this thing is absolute luxury for an inexpensive, for a high value knife. Nitro V blade steel. You've got this concentrically milled circular pattern radiating off of that gorgeous low profile branded pivot. I love this thing. feels great in hand, and I have to say would be absolutely wicked if you needed to use it for self-defense, which I won't need to. So there you go. That is the Synergy 4. They also come in a Synergy 3, which is like a 3¼ inch blade. So do check that out. All right, the last two knives here are fixed blades. This is the most recent acquisition in the fixed blade category. This is their Dagger, the Pacifico. That's right, Pacifico. So this is a single-edged dagger. So if you're a nerd like me, I venture to say this is just a spear point blade and not a dagger, because if it were a dagger, it'd have two sharp edges. But I get it, Civivi. You want to sell this knife far and wide, and you can't do so with two sharp edges. But you do supply a very thin swedge on that top edge. So I'm about to send this off tomorrow as I record this to get that new edge put on the top. And I'm very much looking forward to that, because that's the one thing holding this back from being just super, super amazing. This is a Nitro V blade, and I'm going to bring up Peterbilt Knife Guy again, but also Aaron of Gideon's Tactical. I know he's tested this knife too. This thing is robust as hell. You might not think so just from looking at it, but it is crazy tough and extremely sharp. And so I'm very much looking forward to having this in my regular rotation. Very cool Kydex sheath. I like the scooping. Some people don't, but I like the way it looks. I, however, will remove this Terzuola Civivi tech lock type thing and put on something a little more low profile for in the waistband carry. Something cool about this is that they do give you some indexing jimping here at the thumb. So if you feel it's only on the thumb side. So if you feel that, you know where your edge is if you're in the dark. And then likewise on the opposite side, you've got jimping towards the tail end. I, however, in my right thumb, do not feel this so well. So I will be happy to have two edges. So I always know I have an edge presenting either way. Also love the G10 handle with all of the milled in patterns and the contouring. This thing is sweet. The Civivi Pacifico. All right, last up, speaking of sweet, probably my favorite of all of these is this. This is the Bob Terzuola designed Tomashi-e, and it is a gorgeous traditional style Japanese type blade. It's got dark green micarta handle scales, which have taken on my personal filth signature, to quote Advanced Knife Bro, and really has patinaed nicely. Feels great. This has a totally captured full tang. So the tang comes down here, but you've got scales that meet at the spine and the belly. So you do not see that full tang. Really nice in hand. You've got two different jimping options here for the thumb. You've got a thumb ramp here, and then thumb jimping on the back for that Filipino grip. Beautiful upswept and swedged Japanese style Tanto blade. Really, really, really nice. This is probably, like I said, this is my favorite Civivi. I know that there are a couple of other fixed blade knives from them that I would really like to get my hands on. But I got to say, they do them both great. Civivi, it does fixed blades and folders beautifully. That's it. If you want to get a Civivi and you want to do it through our affiliate link, it's TheKnifeJunkie.com/Civivi. So do check it out if that floats your boat. I hope these knives float your boat, and I hope you enjoyed this show. Thanks again for watching. Be sure to join us tomorrow night if you're watching this as it drops for Thursday Night Knives every Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's live. We get to talk. It's a blast. It's the start of your weekend and mine, and I love it. Also, be sure to join us on Sundays for our Knife Maker 1-hour interview. It's the best. All right. Thanks for watching. For Jim working his magic behind the switcher, I'm Bob DeMarco saying until next time, Don't take dull for an answer.
Thanks for listening to the Knife Junkie podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and review at reviewthepodcast.com. For show notes for today's episode, additional resources, and to listen to past episodes, visit our website, TheKnifeJunkie.com. You can also watch our latest videos on YouTube at TheKnifeJunkie.com/YouTube. Check out some great knife photos on TheKnifeJunkie.com/Instagram, and join our Facebook group at TheKnifeJunkie.com/Facebook. And if you have a question or comment, email them to bob@TheKnifeJunkie.com or call our 24/7 listener line at 724-466-4487, and you may hear your comment or question answered on an upcoming episode of the Knife Junkie podcast.